This is GamesAtWork.biz, your weekly podcast about gaming, technology, and play. Your hosts are Michael Martin, Andy Piper, and Michael Rowe. The thoughts and opinions on this podcast are those of the hosts and guests alone and are not the opinions of any organization which they have been, are, or may be affiliated with. This is episode 531, Games and Such. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Michael Rowe here on Friday, and I have the pleasure of having fun playing with technology and talking games with my friend Ian Hughes. Ian, how are you?
I'm very good and very pleased to be back talking to you about games and all the wonderful stuff again.
And all that such. Yes, especially after our, a peek behind the curtains. One of the great things about podcasting is audio is so reliable and consistent across every recording, right?
Absolutely. As our file sharing systems, and I said all we need to do now is get printers to work, and we'll be sorted.
Yes. So this week is going to be kind of a different episode. We've had all kinds of things kind of conspire for us to actually get a recording going. So we decided what would be really fun is to talk gaming, maybe a little VR. Ian was happy to join, and so there's been a lot of interesting stuff going on with gaming lately. And one of the things we were talking about right before the show was a game that you and I played together along with Andy called Demio, which was and still is a cross-platform, immersive, capable board game, kind of Dungeons and Dragons-y like board game, where I think you were on the Vision. No, you were on the Quest.
I was on the Quest.
The MetaQuest 2?
3.
I think. 3. Andy was on the 2, and I was on the Vision Pro. It was a load of fun. They have just released the demo levels for a new version of Demio called Demio Dungeons and Dragons Battlegrounds or something like that.
Battle Marked.
Battle Marked.
Yes,
Battle Marked. Coming out in November, I think November 20th. I've had a chance to play the demo. You've had a chance to look at the video. Ian, what do you think?
Well, it was always trying to be Dungeons and Dragons anyway, wasn't it? So the fact that they've taken it and got the official licensing and doing it properly and got all the same classes and all the things that will bring all the D&D players in, I thought was really, really good. And it looks as good as it was before, so it's a really intriguing game, isn't it?
Yeah, the only thing I was disappointed about is, at least at launch, they have no mention of the Vision Pro or Mac support. It was pretty much Steam, PS2, and the Meta Quest as not PS2, PlayStation,
PSVR
right?
2,
PSVR. Yeah. So I will if I play it, it'll have to be on my Mac. On my Windows machine running Steam. The other thing that was really interesting about it was back in August, I was in San Francisco at a work-related event, and as I was walking around downtown San Francisco, I actually saw billboards for Demio.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I think I was the only one who noticed and cared. It was like, oh man, look at that. That's really cool. So I'm excited.
There's that one, well, there's lots of wonderful features in Demio, but when you're in the immersive environment, whether you're playing it mixed reality or virtual reality, it's sort of much the same thing really. But the other players, you see around the table or avatars for them. They're kind of a hat and a hand, so you can see roughly where somebody is. But as a user, if you scale in and out and zoom into the floor level rather than looking at the overall map level, the size of your avatar changes so that your compatriots can see whether you're zoomed in or whether you're taking that whole level. And that's just a really subtle little tweak which doesn't happen very often. There's been a few VR things that have attempted that, but I really liked that once I realised it was happening, because I saw it and didn't register it because it was so good. It wasn't like a in-your-face effect, was it?
it almost it was like one of those design elements that becomes extremely obvious once you see it.
Yes, that's the
right?
one. Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was amazing because I remember suddenly I saw, little Ian, little Ian head and hands floating around the bottom of the water. I'm like, Ian, what the heck are you doing? That was so cool. The other fun part about it is, I'm of a certain age. I believe you are of a certain age who probably played Dungeons and Dragons in high school, and in the parents' basement. And the great thing about the game is the setting is in a basement,
yes.
and you see all this other content around you that you would have seen back then. Various board games. You see the modules for other games that you could play, etc.
Oh, that was very cool. And I mean, talking about being of a certain age. After last week's show, I need to know whether you've found Orktown yet or not.
Oh yes, it's been that long. So yes, I found Orktown.
Yay!
Not only did I find Orktown, is I kicked the big bad orc's butt who runs Orktown. Got my information I needed to get down through the crystal depths into another down deep depths of the mines of Moria, and ultimately now have the pickaxe that I need of the first age so that I can mine granite instead of just stone. And then the first thing I did is I found this great mine section, and it's like, nope, you can't get adamantium or adamant. I can't mithril stuff.
Yeah,
because I have the wrong. I have the wrong pickaxe. I need another one that's even better.
Another
but
pickaxe.
It's fun.
Another
yes,
pickaxe.
yes.
That's ridiculous.
But it's loads of fun. For those who don't follow this show every week, and if you do, you didn't the last couple, and we apologize for that. But the game I've been playing is kind of. I was talking to Andy at the time about it. This is my I just need to relax game, which is the Return to the Mines of Moria. It's on the Epic Store. It was a free game. There evidently is some paid content, but I've never seen any of it, and I've never had a need to buy any of it, so there is that. And you play a dwarf after the events of The Lord of the Rings, and you get to go back and try to reestablish the Kingdom of Moria.
Right.
In the mines of Moria. So you're digging out some of the stuff that has fallen down. You're trying to rebuild the housing, the bridges, etc. And you're clearing out the orcs and goblins who have taken up residence. I took out a cave troll. That was tough. And it's kind of fun and relaxing. Here's the worst thing about Orktown. It literally was right around the corner from where I had set up a base, and I just kept going the other way.
So all your discussion about it being procedurally generated and AI's trying to help you, it's like you were looking the wrong way.
Yes, I went right instead of left.
Oh, how often have we done that in games? That's
how often have we done that in life?
Oh, that's absolutely yes. Oh, that's crazy.
The other thing I was going to ask you about was Apple announced the Vision Pro with the M5 this week.
Yes.
And I know you don't have a Vision Pro. I'm trying to convince you to get one, just like every other friend that I have, so that I can actually, Vision Pro together. But I know it's a bit of a pricey price tag for that. What did you think? Had you a chance to look at what they've announced? Does that really change anything for your current situation?
No, because they're still ridiculously expensive, and I do appreciate that they integrate with the Apple ecosystem and everything, but what I can do with the Quest, both standalone and plugged into my gaming rig, I would say gives me all the fun that I need. I don't really want to be working in it just yet. So and there was the slightly unusual thing about saying, oh yes, it'll use the PSVR controllers as well and you'll be able to buy them for
$250.
It's like, what? I mean, what? Yeah, so that was unusual. But, there's been a lot of rumour mill stuff, hasn't it? They're not going to bother, and they're trying to do glasses now because they're trying to keep up with Meta, which I find weird. But yeah.
I don't have a problem with them trying to come out with glasses. I mean, I think that's great. But again, I don't think it's the same use case, right?
No, it's not.
The Vision Pro, just like the Meta Quest and PSVR, right? These are much more fully immersive environments. The Vision Pro, yes, one of its big things when it first came out was the pass-through mode, so you're not completely restricted from the world. And others have said, hey, that's a good idea. We should add that too, right?
Well,
but
Vario did it first, commercially.
Yeah. Yeah, but the fact that it becomes an immersive environment for focusing your work, which is what I use it for, says the MetaQuest doesn't meet my needs. I have no need for that. To me, that would be if I just wanted to get a gaming rig, and I almost did that a couple of years ago. But then the Vision Pro was being announced, etc., and I said, nope, that's the one I'll get. And yes, it's still a dev kit, even with its new upgrades, which from every review that I've seen, of course, it's reviews based off of an announcement.
Yes.
Nobody's seen it yet. It's the exact spec bump you would do and not have to do anything else.
Yeah.
Right? It's a spec bump. Is it a nice spec bump? Yes. I mean, going from an M2 to an M5, that is a huge jump.
That is a big one.
But the downside is, one, you can't trade in your old one. So you're paying the full amount. There's not a huge aftermarket for the old one because it's a dev kit, and there's not a lot of people clamoring for a dev kit.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're heavy-duty developer on this and fully invested, I think go for it. Otherwise, as much as I hate to say it, unless you want to buy mine.
Oh well,
right, and get the
I'll consider
the M2, and then at only I'll knock off 20% off the original price, and then
that's very kind. That's very kind of you.
Yes.
No, I mean, I think the thing is that if you work in the Apple ecosystem or you have a Mac to work on, then it's all right. But for some of us that have to use PC laptops for work, it just doesn't become a thing, and neither does the Quest for that matter, because it's too difficult to get all these things on corporate networks and certified, and I just want to play
now
with
you
things.
Said, and now you said the magic words, corporate network. So one of the things is, like I said, I really like the Vision Pro because I can immerse myself. The company I started working for back in May, literally right as I onboarded, had just started their corporate technology lockdown. They're all Mac shop, which is cool, but you are required to use a corporate Apple ID.
Yeah.
And so, needless to say, there's no handoff between devices, right? None of your personal stuff syncs, etc. It's fully isolated. So I can't use the Vision Pro with the device because different Apple ID, and I'm not about to put my corporate stuff on that. So there's a Slack channel of people trying to get around stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I've installed Duet, the Duet app, which is allows you to basically stream a screen to another device, and they've got a version for the Mac, and they have a version for the Vision Pro." And I've talked to a couple of devs in the company, and they've got it working. They say it's kind of flaky, but it's working. So I tried to set it up, and it's not working on my end. No. So I've been working with the Duet people to say, you guys got to get this working.
You see, I am an early adopter, obviously, but just sometimes get to the point of I can't be bothered with all that. I just want to just make the thing work, which is what happened. I'd been holding off on glasses, and it wasn't until about 6 months ago I bought the the Ray-Ban Metas. I know there's new ones and the Visions and version 2, but I bought them because I could go into the opticians where I had my prescription done and try them on and then buy them and have them. I mean, they had to ship them off to Ray-Ban to put the lenses in, but with transition lenses for sunglasses, but also the full varifocal thing. Yep. And it was just, they just work. so I have my spare pair of those to goof around with if I go for a walk and take photos and ask questions if I've got any phone signal. And it just is pure working stuff. I think that's
it's funny. Most of the use cases I hear from people using the Meta Ray-Bans are what I used to do with Google Glass.
Well, yeah, of course.
Take pictures, have a little bit of information, and have the audio feed.
Well, but the my ones I've got. I've switched it to the Dame Judi Dench voice. So there's an AI version of Dame Judi, an official one. So I have M from James Bond in my bone conduction. So when I ask for information, it feels like I'm on a secret mission to save the world, and it is absolutely brilliant. And you, of course, with it being talking to an AI anyway, and it's an LLM on the other end, you can ask it to give you a mission. So
great!
So she makes one up, and it sounds like her, and it is, and it's in my head, and it just makes me smile. So those things,
something to that.
Aside from the translation-y stuff which I messed around with, which is weird, and the photo stuff, it's very good at, and being hands-free. Like when I go down to my greenhouse and start faffing around with something, it's all very playful, but just works, and they're very good. Well, I think the lenses in my Ray-Bans are better than the lenses in my regular glasses I've got on at the moment. It's just I had to have two pairs of glasses. I knew, because I couldn't be wandering in that kind of Google Glass thing. Couldn't be wandering around with them on all the time, even though they're not photographing things. I have to take them off in certain situations. So wandering through the country, no worries. Not going to be worried. Wandering through the supermarket, listening to stuff and checking shopping lists, no worries. But if you go in a changing room or something, you really don't want to be, or a toilet.
You don't even want to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not, and it's like But it's all good.
It's interesting, because one of the things that I find personally with various AI tools, etc. We use a lot of them at work, and they're really good at what they do. But all the AI vendors want you to interact via voice. Yeah. Right? That's the big thing. Become your assistant that you're chatting with. And I find it, I rarely want to talk to my computer. I don't want to interact via voice, because that means it's listening. I would rather, hit a command key, pop up a window, type something in, get a response back, etc. And I'm wondering, there's this social acceptance that's slowly happening, just like all the cameras and everything else, of people being willing to have something listening all the time and asking it questions. And the stigma to me was, I remember early on the Apple Watch, when Siri was enabled on it, I was in a meeting with the general manager of the product division I was in at the time, and we were having a fairly confidential strategic conversation about some product work and possible partnerships. And Siri kept piping up saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't get that." And to me, that's just horrible. It's like people wearing the Ray-Bans, and if you're having a conversation with somebody and you don't notice it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, granted, you won't hear when it says to that person through the bone conduction, "Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't get that."
Well, it depends how loud you have it turned up. It's surprisingly how much it... I mean, it's not surprising because it's not in here, but it does leak, and people do wonder, what on earth's that going past?
So there's these types of kind of societal things that I think are interesting, and how that will play into the usage and more usage of various AI listening devices.
I've found when I'm with the family and I've got them on, and I want to ask it a question, they now know I'm going to talk to it because I turn my head away and look down, and unless I'm looking at something, and I go, "Hey Meta, blah 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 blah," because so often I was like, "Sorry, what were you saying? What did you say something?" And it's like, "No, I'm talking to the," and because then you say, "No, I'm talking to this," and then it listens to you saying that and thinks that's the question that you're asking it, and you end up in these conversations with three of you, but only one of you knows there's three of you in it, and that's the kind of weird side of it.
I remember a TV movie back in the 70s called Sybil, about
Sybil,
a
yes.
woman who was talking with like 13 of her.
Yes, yeah, no, it's very much like that. It's
Yeah.
but it's it's all right as you get older. People expect that of us, I think.
So there was something else I saw, and I'd love to get your perspective on this. And I'm sure we have a link somewhere in various show ideas. And there was an acquisition recently of a gaming simulation company by one of the AI vendors.
Oh right, yes.
Looking at the simulation, have you heard that? I think it was Perplexity, maybe, or Anthropic buying one of the game simulation environments.
I think a lot of the AI generation stuff is moving to the next phase of being able to generate worlds. So Google are doing it. Midjourney has been talking about the kind of holodeck thing for a while, and there's lots of little tools that do those things. So, and in the industrial space, people are doing lots more kind of game engine style simulations of things as part of the whole AI and digital twin and training robots and all that. So it's not really a surprise that it's coming from both directions. So an AI company saying, right, we need some simulation stuff makes sense, and likewise simulation stuff saying I need some AI stuff. And so yeah, it's going to be really, I mean, it already is really interesting, but it's just going to get even more interesting. This stuff being able to, I mean, you mentioned the procedural generated stuff you had.
I was going to take it back to that. I'm glad you did it for me.
Yeah, well, no, and so that's doing that well can just be pure procedural, can't it? But doing that kind of procedural with a hint of AI, so that it's a bit of context on what's happening, what the storyline's supposed to be, not just some random forest you just wander in that's nothing to do with anything because you were in an urban environment, all that stuff. That's going to be fun. And I don't know how. We'll have some really bad games, guaranteed. There'll be some awful ones, and then something will go boom, and it will be the poster child for that generation of games.
Are you still playing, what is it, No Man's Sky?
Oh, yes. I can't stop playing. So that came out in 2016. That's 9 years old, that game.
Yeah.
And they are still doing
fully procedural.
Fully procedural. And they're doing huge updates all the time as well to the whole experience. And I'd kind of stopped playing it a little bit. Every now and then it's my go-to relaxation game, but there were so many other things to play. But they just dropped this it was about a month ago or something, this Corvette patch or enhancement, which meant rather than just flying one of the multitude of little fighters that you'd sit in and zoom around, and you could put all different stuff on it and things and custom them up and get the right loadout, but they changed it so that instead, or as well, you could build spaceships from bits. So
cool.
And these components that you could barter and dig up and find in places, and it utterly changes the feel of it, because you're now sat in this cockpit zooming through space, and you may be doing the space fighting or mining something or trying to get somewhere, or the multitude of storyline things they've got. But you can get out of the seat and walk around your spaceship now. And
very cool.
And that was really, really, really good just on the Xbox on 2D screen. But in VR, is like, oh my god, I've got my own spaceship. I mean, they've had freighters and things before, but it's just something very special about some of the bits they've got in here, and even when you're in space, because you're in a spacesuit anyway, you can open the back hatch and you can spacewalk out of your ship. So you've gone from this chained into this little fighter thing to this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to go and wander around and float in space for a while, and you start to ice up a little bit after a while, but it is fantastic. And
and you can do that in VR too.
Yes, you can do the whole thing, the whole thing. But it's the level of detail inside these Corvettes. Like there's there's 3 or 4 different kind of graphical styles to things. There's this sort of plush ambassador one, and then Titan and Thunderhawk or something. I can't remember. But there's a nutrient station, or a kind of a cooking thing that you can bolt inside. So you can custom the inside as well. And on one of them, on the base one, you end up with this little bench seat and a little round table with some sort of looks a bit like a dartboard sort of shape and colour. And clearly,
you can play space chess.
Clearly, it's the Star Wars one. I mean, it's just wow. And then other bits of it look like they're from Alien and things like that. So they've it's a labour of love from them, from Hello Games.
So speaking of cool space stuff, and you mentioned Alien, and I know we've only got like 2 minutes left. Have you been watching Alien Earth?
Not yet. I was too scared to.
Okay.
It's on the list. Plus, I've been playing Battlefield 6 instead as well, because that came out last weekend. And
okay. Well, you got to set those priorities.
And Battlefield 6 is incredible. It's Electronic Arts, and Electronic Arts just got bought for $55 million or $billion by billion. Yes, not billion. And which is again insane and incredible, but
yes,
the level of environment destruction that happens in the war environment in Battlefield is incredible. So you quite often, Call of Duty, you get little bullet holes and things, and the odd tree falling over sometimes. But the whole front of a building will fall off and just crumble. And so you've got some bad guy in a machine gun nest or something, and you can take little pot shots at them. Or you just send a tank in, or a giant explosive, and it just goes all the way down.
Wow!
And it's very clever.
One of the most amazing things to me, and I remember us working together. Gosh, almost 20 years ago, and talking about the size of the gaming industry at that point was already getting bigger than Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And now it's so far past it, and you think of a $55 billion acquisition, and you go, well, maybe that does make sense.
Yeah, I mean, EA's got a lot of IP, obviously, and a lot of very popular games, and
if you create a game that is as addictive and as engaging as something like No Man's Sky, which is not EA. You've got people playing it for 10 plus years.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm still doing World of Warcraft, right?
Yeah.
And that came out in 2003, 2004.
Absolutely.
So that's 20 years IP, and it's just printing money for them. Well,
the weird thing with No Man's Sky is that they're managing to do it on new sales effectively. There's no subscription. There's no DLC that you pay for. This stuff just arrives, and it said it's a fantastic. The biomes and stuff that they've added, and some of the planets you get to look at, because every time you arrive at a planet, it's basically maths generating it for the first time, and that seeds it, and then it becomes part of the entire giant universe. So somebody else might actually land on that planet. Just mind-blowing. But yeah, all from a greed monetization thing that many games have become. We're here, have a loot box, here, have this, buy this pointless bit of rubbish, to something that's crafted and loved by the developers and by all the people. It's just wonderful. And of course now there's even more user-generated content in it with all these crazy ships that people are building. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, on that note, Ian, it has been crazy fun and engaging catching up with you on the world of gaming and VR and all this fun stuff. If people want to follow you online, is there any place that they should go?
Oh, well, just look for Epredator. That's my handle. Or, I still occasionally blog on feedingedge.co.uk, but my handle's Epredator, so you can find me almost everywhere.
Anywhere.
Yes.
Yes. Well, great. Everybody else, we appreciate your listening. Hopefully we'll be back again next week. I will not be here next week, but my other co-hosts may. If not, it'll be 2 weeks from now before our next episode. We really appreciate your feedback. Follow us over at Mastodon, at Games at Work Biz. And otherwise, come to our website at gamesatwork.biz, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks. You've been listening to GamesAtWork.biz, the podcast about gaming, technology, and play. We are part of the Blueberry Podcasting Network, and would like to thank the band Random Encounters for their song, Big Blue. You can follow us at our website at GamesAtWork.biz.